Hello, everyone. I am Sean, and welcome once again to my Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you tuning in. And today I'm super excited to welcome back Aaron from A&B Horror. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Sean, for having me. This is going to be a blast.
Oh, it definitely will. You get to talk about some of these classics sometimes, and it's just great. And that's what I've been doing all month for October on my channel is just classics. We've talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we've talked about Halloween, we've talked about Friday the 13th, and then not a day you and I are going to talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, me too. I've been looking forward to it all day. Let's do it.
Very cool. Before we jump right in, though, do you want to take a minute to promote your channel and tell everybody what you've got coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on YouTube at A&B Horror Movies. You can also find me on Instagram at Aaron's Movies 8587. The latest videos, interviews on my channel include The Man with the Black Umbrella with Ricky Umberger. Fantastic movie, and it's always amazing to sit down and chat with him. I also just posted Halloween with Phil Clayton and Ronan Summers, a brand new Halloween-themed horror that I absolutely loved. And then the most recent one is Brute 1976 with Marcel Waltz and Gigi Gustin, which is a fantastic film that sort of is a throwback to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, but in a modern way. And I loved that one too. So there you have it. That's the latest updates for A&B Horror Movies.
Very cool. Yeah, you got some good stuff coming up then. Yeah. I think as far as what we've got coming up here, later this week, Bo from Critic After Dark will be on with me. He and I will be talking about Hellraiser. And then we've got episodes coming up with Ken from Sledgehammer Horror. We're going to be talking about Child's Play. And then Sam and Brendan from Our Life in Horror are coming on to talk Candyman. So, awesome. Yeah, just more classics coming up this month. Yeah, I figured best time of year to talk about this stuff. So that's what we've been doing. But
perfect time of year, right? You know, yeah, being a horror fan, we watch horror all year round, but when October comes around, there's no guilt in watching horror, I guess.
That's right.
Fit in as many as we can. Yes.
Yeah. Now, one more thing too before we get started. Yeah. You just got something really cool in the mail. You and I were talking about it. You want to take a minute to show what you got?
I did. Give me a second.
Sure.
It is the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K Steelbook set. That is just beautiful. Look at that.
That is beautiful. I'm jealous. That is
textured so cool. Holes in the sweater, and Freddy's head would be right here.
Yeah.
And it's got a Steelbook 4K edition of each one. I mean, look at the setup here. It's got like a foam sort of a casement.
Okay.
And then if you want, I can pull out each one.
Sure.
I don't want to drop anything. They're metal, so they'll dent. That would be horrific.
That.
But they have like sort of like a glossy kind of shine.
Yeah.
Like a finish, right? A glossy finish.
Absolutely. Those look so cool.
It's got the original. Yeah, so cool. The original artwork there. Freddy's coming out of the wall.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
Let me see, I can just go through it quickly. And then part two. What's so cool is that it's got not only the original artwork, but it doesn't have any of the titles. So it almost makes it more like, I don't know, like a prized possession in a way.
Yeah.
The little girl jump rope, the younger sister, I believe.
That is so
part two, and then Dream Warriors, one of my favorites. Look at that.
Yes, completely agree. That's awesome.
Fantastic.
That is so cool.
And then, of course, are you ready for prime time? There we go. Let's see. And then part four.
Another good one.
First introduction to Alice.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's on the back. Is that her? Oh, it's from the pizza.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It kind of looks like that's what I was thinking was the pizza.
The head in the pizza, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. That would be I'd put my money on that. And then I've got, let's see, Dream Child.
Oh, yeah.
Also cool.
Yes,
it's got the little kid on the back. Two more, almost done.
No, you're good.
Let's see. Freddy's Dead.
Okay.
Also cool poster.
Those look so good, yeah.
I think that's Alice Cooper, right? Isn't it Alice Cooper, the dad?
That's what it looked like from here, yeah. Yeah, very cool.
And then, of course, the New Nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it look cool without the titles?
It does. Those look
amazing.
I don't know.
There's something more. Makes it special. I don't know.
It does.
I can't describe it, but it looks really cool without the titles.
That is amazing. Yeah, I am jealous. And we were talking before we started recording just how quickly it keeps selling out. I've looked a couple of times and it's
Yes.
been gone, and I may have to pull the trigger and pay a little more to get it off eBay, but I'm hoping that that Amazon or somebody will get it back up there and I'll be able to snatch it before that happens.
Yeah, you'd think they'd put out more copies of it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially as quickly as it's selling out. But yeah.
Just
Well,
do
what I
like
have
what
that
Imprint Films did with the
yeah,
Halloween box set. They said only 1,000
yes.
copies, and then just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, what I have that I'm going to show, not as cool as what you've got there, but I'm huge on these NECA figures. So one of my favorite ones that I got, in fact, this is actually the first one that I got when I just
Mhm.
started collecting this stuff, probably, gosh, a year and a half, 2 years ago. The first figure that I picked up was the Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street. I absolutely love
Oh,
that one.
yes.
It's one of my favorites.
Yep.
I have, and, it's kind of weird to me because I know they've put out 1, 2, and 3. I haven't seen that they've done any
Yeah,
more, which surprises me because I keep seeing tons of Halloween and Friday the 13th and all of that, but I've only seen these
that's a good
3 Elm
point.
Street ones. Maybe they're
Hmm.
coming. We'll see, but I hope so.
I hope so too. What are some of the add-ons with that? Like, what are some of the
Um,
accessories?
so it's got a. I'll open it back up here and turn it around. We've got
I
Freddy's
have it
hat,
too,
of
but I forget.
course. Yeah, we've got Freddy's hat, of course. A couple of different faces. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. Is the phone in
yeah,
there?
just the phone is right down here in this corner, so that's very
Of
cool.
course. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some really cool stuff in here. I absolutely love it.
Hmm.
Yeah, we've
I
got the
love
one here where
NECA's
they pulled his
attention
face
to
off.
detail.
Oh yeah, they do so good.
Yeah.
I think that's why
Oh
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
these
The
so
face
much.
off. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they do so good, and I like the. I don't know why. I really like the Toonie Terror figures as well. I've got the Freddy one of that over there, but um, I don't know. They're just kind of
Yes.
fun, but the detail on these NECA ones are so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Toonie Terrors too. I think they just put out an Art the Clown one, which
They
I need
did.
to
They
get.
just put out. I know. I'm the same way. Art the Clown, the Grabber from Black Phone, and there was another one too that came out in that
Oh,
group, and I cannot think of. They just put out 3: Art
oh
the
my
Clown, the
gosh.
Grabber, and somebody else. But yeah, I haven't seen them anywhere yet. I keep seeing people finding them, but I haven't found them here where I'm at yet. So I just keep looking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a place I go to over in Salem, but it's October now, and it's completely crazy. So I'm going to wait
Yeah,
until November, and maybe they'll have it. Maybe they'll
yeah, I
have it
don't
then.
blame you a bit. All right, well,
Although I am
we'll
going
get
over to
ready.
Salem this Thursday. There's a screening at Cinema Salem. I'm going to
Okay.
for Halloween Feast, which should be a lot of fun. Um,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
who knows? Maybe you'll find something when you get to go over there. Then
maybe I'll find a Toonie Terror
that's always a good idea.
then.
We will jump in and start talking about Nightmare on Elm Street while I have my glasses on so I can
Awesome.
read my notes.
Mm.
Real quick, tagline for the film: If Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. I'm sure everybody that is watching already knows this, the overview, the synopsis, that kind of thing. But I'm going to read a quick one anyway. Teenagers in a small town are dropping like flies, apparently in the grip of mass hysteria causing their suicides. A cop's daughter, Nancy Thompson, traces the cause to a child killer named Fred Krueger, who was burned alive by angry parents many years before. Krueger is now back in the dreams of his killer's children, claiming their lives as his revenge. The film was released November 9th in 1984, directed by Wes Craven, written by Wes Craven, produced by Robert Shea, cinematography by Jacques Hitkin, I believe is how you pronounce that, edited by Patrick McMahon and Rick Shane, music by Charles Bernstein, distributed by New Line Cinema, a runtime of 91 minutes, $1.1 million budget, $57 million at the box office. So huge numbers. Scores
Wow.
94% from critics, 84% from the audience on Rotten Tomato, and the IMDb score of 7.4 out of 10. A lot of information there, but before I go any further, let's talk about the story, the cinematography, the score.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'll start with you. I will defer to you. Your thoughts on these things for this film?
I think the story is one of the best. It's unique. Everyone can relate to it because we all sleep and we all dream and we all perhaps have our own demons. Except they just don't haunt us when we're sleeping and kill us in our sleep. Because when
Right?
you die and you sleep in Nightmare on Elm Street, we all know what happens. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, I don't know. I think Wes Craven just hit the jackpot when he came up with this story and then designed Freddy everything
Yeah,
just aligned. The stars aligned for this movie. Fantastic cast, some new up and comers, pretty much
right.
across the board, except for John Saxon. Um,
Sure.
and the script is flawless. The beats are all hit perfectly. Um, it starts out. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I love all the plot points in the script. The finale is just fantastic, and
Yeah.
to think 1984 it still holds up today, right?
It really does so
Still
well. It
just as scary.
gosh, it blows my mind. I just watched it again. I mean, I've seen this movie more times than I can even count, but I just watched it again a couple of days ago to get ready for you and I to talk about this. And
Yeah.
one I watched because I have the first one on 4K. I don't have that whole set yet like you've got, but the 4K looks so good for this movie. I just think it
Mm.
looks amazing. And yeah, I think everything about it still holds up so well. I absolutely love that score. And the Freddie song is amazing. But yeah, the story is it's one of those rare things where everything just seems to fit perfectly. The pacing is fantastic. It plays out great. There's not moments where it's drawing and long and you're wanting to move on.
So,
I think everything about it is fantastic. It's written so well. I'm curious to what you think about, and that would change later on when they did the remake. So with the original story, Freddie was written as a child molester, and then because of things
mhm.
that were going on at the time, especially there in California with some high profile cases, um,
Mm.
Craven changed it to him just being a child killer. So,
Yes.
do you think that would have made it? Was it just because of the timing it wouldn't have worked if he would have left it, it being a child molester? Do you think that would have made it creepier like they do,
Ooh.
in the remake? What are your thoughts there?
I don't know. I like the. I mean, we're going into some really dark territory, right, with
Sure.
this topic. So, I mean, no one wants that or to even think
Right.
about that. I mean, even a child killer is
Yeah.
horrific as well. But I guess it's a little easier to stomach, and
Yeah.
they don't really draw that much attention to it in the original kind of,
Right.
not as much as they do in the remake. Although
Right.
let's not talk about that film. I'm just kidding. I mean,
No,
unless
you're good.
we don't have to, we can if you want to. Um,
I didn't plan on it today. So,
yeah, okay, good. Man, I want to like that. I've rewatched
yeah,
that one twice, and each time I'm like, I'm gonna give it a chance, and it's just so hard. I don't know. There's just something so.
it is. I think that, I can see how anyone, because I've talked to a couple of people that really love that movie, and
Mm,
but it's people that are, much younger than I am, and so they never saw all of the original Freddy. They're newer to horror, and so they've never seen that original. The remake comes out, and they're like, "Wow, this is really good." And
mhm.
almost every person that has that opinion, then when they go back and they watch the originals, they're like, "Oh, okay, now I see why people say that it's
Now I
not
get
good."
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I just think it doesn't. And at some point, I'm hoping that you'll come back and slowly we'll go through this whole franchise. And so if we go through the whole franchise at some
Absolutely.
point, I'm sure we'll get to it. But for me, it just really comes down to um, I still can't wrap my head around anybody else other than Robert Englund being Freddy. It just doesn't work. And I
Mhm.
know I love the franchise. I wish the franchise could continue. And I know Robert Englund has said that he can't do it anymore. So at some point, I'm going to have to accept that if it's going to continue, somebody else has got to be Freddy. But Jackie Earl Haley, not that he's a bad actor, but this just didn't work for me. This is just
Nice.
not the Freddy that I've been watching for so long, and I really think um, that's what did it for me. No matter how many times I watch it, no matter how many things I find about it that I'm like, okay, that's not bad. It's still
Mhm.
just not Freddy.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, he's a very gifted, very talented actor. Um, I think what they did wrong is they put too much prosthetics on him, so he
Yeah,
couldn't act. You
right.
couldn't see his facial movements, or there was too much.
Yeah,
Um, I think they also missed the mark with the tone. The
right.
remake was way too serious.
Yeah,
What works so well in A Nightmare on Elm Street is that it's sort of Freddy's kind of playful. Not as much
sure.
in the sequels, but even the original one, he is kind of joking
Right.
around and kind of messing around with the kids he's about to kill. I think they missed out on that. One one redeeming quality about the remake, hear me out, is
Sure.
the micro napping. I thought that was really cool because they're so tired that they're just falling asleep. Those
Right.
micro naps and that whole aspect of Freddy could strike when they're in a micro nap and they don't even realize they're asleep. I
Right.
thought that was cool. But again,
Yeah.
it's just way too serious. The film took itself too seriously.
Right.
And I think that ultimately is what doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree. And again, like you said, it's a very touchy subject to mention
Mhm.
the difference there. So we don't have to key on it for very long. But the only reason I wanted to bring it up is because does it make it creepier? Yeah, it does, but it just wasn't necessary. I think Craven did it so
Wasn't necessary.
perfectly that it just wasn't necessary to do that because
Mhm.
this works perfectly, and you don't have to do that. So yeah, I think it's a good decision that they made because yeah, I mean times may have changed a lot, but it doesn't matter what time frame we're in. That's a touchy subject.
Mhm.
So I think it was a
Oh,
wise
for sure.
decision, and I think it played out perfectly.
Yes. Yes. And they don't focus on it. And I
Right.
don't think they needed to in the
I
original.
agree. Yeah, I
Um,
completely
I
agree.
mean, just what he looks like now, I mean, that's enough, right? Or in
Yeah,
the original,
absolutely.
what he looks like, being all disfigured, and um, that's all we need to know, right? It's
Yeah,
almost too much backstory. Like, what's the fine line
right.
there? People, like with Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween, people say he spends too much time with Michael Myers because you
Right.
don't need all that backstory.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just throwing that out as an example.
No, I
Um,
agree with you. And I think the thing too that I remember when I first got into horror and being probably somewhere between 10 and 12 years old as a kid. Once I got into it and decided that I really liked it, I loved Michael. I loved Jason. There was other stuff here and there that I watched that I just had a blast with. My Bloody Valentine, a lot of things like that.
yeah.
But it took me a while to be able to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street because Freddy still scared the hell out of me. There was something different about Freddy that just
Mhm.
terrified me. I kept putting that one off. I tried watching it one time still as a kid. It got to me a little bit, and I'm like, maybe that one's not for me. I'll have to come back to it. But I knew so many other people that loved it that I kept thinking, one of these days, I will get back and I'll watch A Nightmare on
Mhm.
Elm Street. But I had to wait for a while because Freddy's terrifying. He really
Oh
is
yeah, yeah.
terrifying.
Mhm.
Um,
I remember when HBO got Nightmare on Elm Street, and I don't know if you recall. I mean, I think we're probably about the same age. When HBO would get the new movies back in the '80s, they would premiere them on Saturday nights, and
right.
they'd send like the little booklet in the mail, and you could look and see what
Yes,
movies
I
were
do
coming.
remember
And
that.
Nightmare on Elm Street was the Saturday night movie. I had a sleepover with my buddies from school, sleeping bags all laid out. We couldn't wait to watch it, and that was my first experience with
Oh,
A
that's very
Nightmare on Elm
cool.
Street.
Yeah, I do remember HBO. I remember the little
Sixth
booklets.
grade.
I loved getting those.
Yeah.
So yeah,
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 you'd
no,
those
it was
little
a good
booklets,
time.
right? You'd flip
Yes.
through the books to see what was coming, and they would have the entire schedule, right?
Yeah.
For the whole like month. You could go through and
Yes.
see what was going to be on HBO.
I
Um,
know. Yeah, I miss those times actually. So yeah, I'm with you
remember the
100%.
HBO intro? They'd fly through the town.
Yes, yeah,
Oh
the
my
little
gosh,
small replica there of the town. Yeah, it
nostalgia.
was so funny. And I remember one of my younger
Yeah, yeah.
brothers. I think it was my brother Jason. He's about 8, 9 years younger than I am. But when he was
Okay.
a kid, anytime we had HBO playing in the living room, when that would come on, he'd come running out of his room. Just he'd hear that intro and he'd come running out of his room like HBO. Like he was so excited that we were about to have some kind of movie on. So yeah,
Yeah.
I remember HBO and all of that. That was
Yes.
good times back then.
Oh yeah. Like it was almost like a Superman
Yeah.
orchestra.
It
Yeah.
really was. Yeah, and it was
I was
a
about
big
to hum
deal.
it, but then I was afraid I'd start humming Superman, so I won't try. Yeah. Oh, that was
That's
fun.
so funny.
Down memory lane a little bit.
I know. Yeah, I still miss those times. I catch myself that way once in a while. So yeah. Let
Yes.
me
Yeah.
just
Not a
mention a
cell
few
phone in
more.
sight, right? We were
Oh, I
just
know. Yeah, we
enjoying
didn't.
HBO and Nightmare on Elm Street. You
Yeah,
couldn't
no
pause it
cell
though. You couldn't
phones.
pause the TV.
Right. That's very true. That was, but I mean, even then it
Moving
was
on.
better because you didn't want to miss anything. It wasn't.
True.
I mean, there's just something about that if even if you did have to run to the bathroom, like you were trying to go really quick because you wanted to get back, you didn't want to miss anything because we
Yes.
couldn't pause. And
Yes. What
yeah,
did
there
I
were no
miss?
cell
Right?
phone distractions and
And
that
you
kind of
couldn't
thing.
just
So
turn on
yeah,
subtitles either.
Exactly. So yeah, it was better back then. I
We
swear
have
to
it
you, it
so
really
easy
was.
now, right?
I know, but it is easier now, and I more convenient,
Yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
mean, we get some great things. I completely understand, but
Oh yeah,
um, I'd go
absolutely.
back if I could. I would go
The
back.
4K releases, it's like we get to watch them, rewatch them again for the very first time in
Yeah,
some ways, because
yeah, I completely agree.
the console TVs, you just you just didn't get the quality that you see now.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. Very good point. Let me just mention a few members of the cast real quick. I won't,
Yeah,
just kind
go
of the
for it, man.
main people, and we'll talk about casting characters a little bit. But as you
Awesome.
mentioned, John Saxon, Ronnie Blakely, Heather Langenkamp, Amanda Weiss, Nick Corey, Johnny Depp, Robert England. Um, like you said, a lot of unknowns. There's some funny stuff here and there on some of
And
that
Jesus
casting that we'll get
Garcia,
into.
did you say Jesus Garcia?
So I said Nick Corey, but same person from what I understand. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
at
yeah,
the
that's right.
time,
Yeah,
yeah, at the time the movie was made, he was going by Nick Corey, but it
yeah.
changed later. So yeah,
He wanted
and
to
I
keep
don't.
the horror film separate. I actually got
Yes.
to interview him earlier this year,
Oh
separate
wow.
from
Okay.
his serious acting. He wanted to keep it separate, which speaks to the attitudes in the 80s. People didn't want to say they were in horror movies because it
Right.
was like, we don't talk about those films that everybody's at home watching, but we don't talk about them.
Right. Wow. Okay. I mean, that's yeah. I guess I mean, I've seen a lot of your stuff, but I might have missed. You said that interview was earlier this year.
Oh, yeah, January, like 10 months ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back because I think I missed that one. But yeah, I bet that was really good.
Oh,
So
cool. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to sit
yeah.
down.
Um, your thoughts? I mean, I know we briefly mentioned it, but we did talk about that for the most part. A lot of these were unknowns, with the exception of John Saxon and I think Ronnie Blakely a little bit. Robert Englund
Yes,
had done a few
yes.
things here and there, but was nowhere near the household name he would
Mm,
become.
right.
But I think they did an amazing job with this cast. It's a great cast, great performers. Everyone is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the characters, I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. When you watch these type of movies, when you watch these slasher films,
Hmm.
so many times you find yourself. I mean, we watch Nightmare on Elm Street because we want to see Freddy, right? I mean, you watch Friday the 13th because you want to see Jason. You watch Halloween because you want to see Michael.
Hmm.
So if the people that they're after aren't that likable, then that's fine. It doesn't really matter. But when they are likable, it helps. It just adds something to it. And I think this is a pretty, with the exception of maybe Rod, this is a pretty likable group of kids. I mean, I don't know what I thought about Rod was, but
Yeah.
yeah, the rest of them. I mean, it seemed like a fun, likable bunch.
Hmm.
Nancy's mom has some issues. Maybe she's not the most likable person, but
But she's working through it, working through those
this is
issues.
true. That's
Like
very
when she
true.
gets pulled through a little window. I don't know how you get past that. Um, yeah, I think the young cast. Let's talk about them first, maybe.
Sure.
I think the chemistry between all of them comes through. It seems like they really were friends off
Right.
camera. At least I'd like to think that.
Yeah.
I think each one of them presented sort of a vulnerable aspect. And then what works so well with Nancy's character, Heather Langenkamp's version of her, is that she becomes sort of a badass in the end and
Yeah.
takes charge. And we all know the film very well. Um,
Sure.
but even like Rod's character, he's supposed to be kind of this tough guy, right? The tough guy persona. But then there's
Right.
sort of a vulnerability to him too, like when he's
Right.
desperate for like, I didn't do it. You
Yeah.
can see the realness in him come out. And then
Sure.
I don't know, I think the four of them, they all have a certain role, they play it very well, and I think the chemistry with them all is just perfect. I love the first act when we meet them because they
Yes.
seem fun. It's like,
Yeah. Exactly.
these are the type of friends I'd like to have. I'd like to hang out with them. That whole scene in the beginning where they're having like the sleepover
Right.
and Johnny Depp is playing the tape and it turns into like a car crash and screaming.
Yeah.
It's just like it's fun,
Yeah.
Um, I mean, think back to watching it for the very first time and not really knowing where it was going to go, up until that first night with Tina,
Mhm.
um, Amanda's character. It's a lot of fun, but then things go very badly for them.
Yeah.
Most,
Yeah.
most of them.
Yes.
So I don't know. What did you think? What do you think about those four?
No, I agree. I think they do seem like a great group, and I was thinking the exact same thing. This seems like a group of people that I would love to hang out with. They just seem like so much fun, and no matter how many times I've seen the movie, that scene that you're talking about, where Johnny Depp's on the phone with his mom, and he's trying to tell her that it's the TV or something, and then like no, there was a crash outside, like all of this stuff. It cracks me up every time, and yeah, they just seem like a great group. They seem fun. The chemistry is amazing. You would think that Heather Langenkamp and Amanda Weiss have known each other forever. I mean, they really did seem like best friends. So yeah, I thought it was a great group. I thought everybody did an exceptional job. And I think the character of Nancy, I mean, she gets some attention. I don't want to say she doesn't get any attention, but I don't think gets enough attention as one of the best final girls. Because most of the time you hear about, Laurie from Halloween, understandably, Jamie Lee Curtis was amazing. Sydney, from Scream, there's a lot that get mentioned, but I sometimes don't think Nancy gets quite enough credit because she does become a badass, and she's incredible. Maybe she doesn't get, in part three, maybe that's why she doesn't get as much attention, is because she's not in but just a couple of the films. But I mean, she is in New Nightmare as well. But yeah, I just think she's kind of underrated as a final girl a little bit. But yeah, it's a great group of people. I think a great cast. They did an amazing job.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then if you want to talk about the older ones a little bit. Well,
before
Blakely does a good. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Ronnie Blakely, I just think she's misunderstood, right?
She might be.
I'm joking a little bit. Yeah. She's trying to overcome her demons and just not doing it very well. Recently, I was chatting with somebody about the classic horrors with the final girls and the villains that we all know and love. That the villain has to be just as good as the final girl. Like Michael Myers isn't Michael Myers without Laurie Strode. And I think the same thing can be said here. Freddy Krueger isn't the Freddy we know and love without Nancy being just as likable and just as powerful and strong of a character as Freddy Krueger. And the same with Sidney Prescott and in Ghost, maybe the same. My problem with Ghostface is that Ghostface is different, a different killer every time.
Yeah, that makes it a little different. So yeah, but yeah, I do see your point, and I agree.
I digress.
Yeah. No, you're perfectly fine. Yeah, I agree with you completely. And you mentioned Ronnie Blakely. She does a great job. People can have opinions about the character. I completely understand, but she does a great job. John Saxon is amazing.
She's stunning. And her eyes, like when she's looking at the camera, there's some of those scenes. And you can see like the tears in her eyes, kind of. Yeah, she's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
And ultimately, she was just trying to protect her daughter. So you can see where she was coming from. And she just turned to the bottle a little bit more.
Which happens. So, and then, John Saxon does a great job. John Saxon's an incredible actor. It blows my mind. The very first movie that I ever saw John Saxon in, my father was a huge Bruce Lee fan. My dad absolutely loved martial arts movies. And I think it was Enter the Dragon. I might be wrong, but I think that's the name of the Bruce Lee film that John Saxon is in. And
I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. So I remember seeing him in that, before I saw Black Christmas or A Nightmare on Elm Street. And when he pops up in those two movies, I'm like, oh, that's the guy from the Bruce Lee movie. I mean, that's just the way I knew him. But
oh my gosh, wait, let me see if I have this other one. Don't forget this classic, The Bees.
Yes, The Bees. That's right. I forgot about
this
that.
Movie is awesome. So funny because he's right there on the cover. This movie is so funny. They're like, you got to listen to The Bees. It's so stupid.
I had forgotten all about that.
The buildings are on fire. There's a plane crashing. There's bees.
I have not seen that in years. I'm going to have to go back and do a rewatch. I forgot all about that movie.
Oh, look at this. What's funny, well, actually, I don't know if it's funny or not. I got the flu right after Christmas. I was visiting my mother and my brother was there, and we all came down with the worst flu ever.
Oh, wow.
And I had brought like all these creature features, and this was one of the ones we watched. We were like, you got to listen to The Bees. It's so silly.
That is very cool.
Don't get the flu. It's not fun.
Yes. Yeah. Avoid that at all costs. And then, of course, Robert Englund as Freddy. What else can you say? This is one of the most
Yeah.
amazing performances in not just
Mhm.
horror movie history, but I think in cinema history. Period. This is just
Hmm.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
absolutely amazing as Freddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't even know how to describe it. I just think he's fantastic.
Oh, completely. Yeah, I completely agree. And isn't I could be wrong here, but didn't they try to recast him, or was that Pinhead?
So yes,
Didn't they
no,
try to
that
recast him? They thought anybody could be Freddy, and then they realized that only Robert
mm,
Englund could be Freddy.
yeah, they did for part two. And there's even one scene, I believe it's the in part two, the infamous shower scene there, where that's not Robert England as Freddy when you get a glimpse of him there. But yeah,
Oh,
they did
really?
think
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah, it's just that one scene.
So
But
even in the final film,
yeah, that one
it's
scene
not him.
somehow. Yeah, that one scene there in the shower, that one's not him. And I don't remember the story as to why, but I know that one scene is not him.
I didn't know
But then
that.
the rest of it is, yeah. And yeah,
Well,
that
now
you were
that I have a
exactly right.
4K copy, I
You
can
have to go
watch
check that
and
out. That's
really, really
right.
see
Yeah, I
the
believe
shower
it's
scene.
that scene where the coach there is in the shower. I believe that's the scene where that is, but you might double check it. But I'm pretty sure that's the one.
No,
Um,
so that was before. So they started filming it, and then they realized they needed Robert Englund. Is that
Yeah, yeah,
that's
pretty
what
much. They realized things just weren't working
happened?
out the way they wanted to, and so they went back and got him. But maybe they had already shot that scene and kept it. Like I don't remember exactly why he didn't appear in that scene, but something there happened. But
Maybe he came
yeah,
down with the flu.
maybe you might be right.
I had no idea.
He stayed home that day and watched the bees while they were doing their
Yeah,
thing.
the bees. You got to listen to the bees. And that's how the movie ends. There's like no.
Right. I forgot all about that. That is so
I'm really
funny.
selling the bees. It's not a
You
very
are.
good movie, but if you're
That's
looking for some insect horror, 70s
it's a good
insect
route to go.
horror, then I don't know if you'd even call it horror because it's so silly.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I felt that way about you said that. It reminds me, there's an older film. It might just be called Frogs. I believe Sam Elliott's in the
Oh
movie.
yeah, yes, we
Yeah.
watched that too. When I had the
Okay.
flu, we watched Frogs, we watched Ants with Joan Collins, um,
Yeah.
and there was one other one I can't remember what it was. But Frogs, it's like a July 4th film.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott's in it, but it's
Yeah.
not just the frogs that are killing everybody; it's all
Right.
the
There's
animals.
yes, everything is happening. I just remember seeing that again when I was younger too, and kind of thought it might be creepy. And then I went back and watched it not long ago, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of silly, but
No, it's not.
still,
Yeah,
yeah,
Day of the Animals or Grizzly is always fun because when the
yeah,
grizzly bear is attacking, you can tell
right,
it's someone's hand, but not really the
right.
bear. But I mean, obviously, it's not a real bear, but it's just I don't know. There's something
Still,
charming and fun about those films.
yeah, I completely agree. The nostalgia part causes me to still watch them anyway. But let me mention a couple of behind the scenes things real quick.
All
A
right,
lot of
please
this,
do.
I mean, when you talk about a movie that is, older like this, it's kind of difficult to find anything brand new. So I don't have anything here that people haven't already heard, but just a couple of things I wanted to mention. Of course, Craven was inspired by news articles of refugees that had been fleeing to the United States from Cambodia and Vietnam. And then were unexplainedly dying in their sleep. And supposedly, some of them had been talking about having nightmares before that occurred. Doctors at the time called it Asian death syndrome. Um, Craven also drew some inspiration from when he was a child. There was an elderly man that he saw walking outside of his window on the sidewalk. When Craven saw him out the window, the man stopped and stared at him for a little while before walking away, which terrified Wes Craven, and that's where he started getting the idea from Freddy Krueger. Um, and the name itself came from the name of a kid who bullied Wes Craven in school, whose name was Fred Krueger. So that's where he got a lot of that
Oh
kind of
my
thing.
gosh!
Yeah,
So there's a real Fred Krueger
there
out
was a
there.
real Fred
If
Krueger.
he's still
Yes,
alive, can you imagine?
I know.
Hey, I
That's
knew
so
Wes
funny.
Craven. Let's go watch his new movie. Oh
Yeah,
shit!
yeah. That would be
I should have
something.
been nicer to him. I shouldn't laugh.
Um,
Bullying is very bad.
yeah. Uh, Craven wanted Freddy Krueger to be a mass killer, like what he had seen from Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Michael, and even Jason. But he also wanted his villain to be able to have the ability to talk and taunt. And so he decided rather than wearing a mask, they would just do the burns and scars. That's where that idea came from. Walt Disney Productions was interested in the movie once Craven got it completed, but they wanted him to tune it down and make it more family friendly, which he, of course, said no.
Like Mr.
David,
Boogedy.
yeah, David Warner, which I am not familiar with that, but he was originally cast as Freddy, but had to drop out due to scheduling issues. Wes Craven also met with Kane Hodder, which, but that he decided he wanted somebody. He thought Kane Hodder was too big. He wanted somebody of smaller stature. Yeah. So, and then when they interviewed Robert Englund, he said that Robert Englund showed more ferocity in the auditioning. And acted very rat and weasel-like, and that's what sold Craven on bringing Englund in to play the story, to play the role of Freddy. Just a few interesting things there. There were a few other names that I saw mentioned. Big names: Demi Moore, Courtney Cox, and Jennifer Grey are rumored to have auditioned for the role of Nancy, but they did want to go with someone lesser known. Johnny Depp actually showed up with his friend Jackie Earle Haley. Haley was the one that was trying to audition for the film. Depp was just with him, and then ended up auditioning while he was there. The reason Wes Craven picked Johnny Depp is because Wes Craven's daughters saw pictures of Johnny Depp and said that he needed to be in the movie. So that's what he ended up going with there, because he was trying to decide between Depp and a few others. Yeah.
The rest is history.
So, just a few behind-the-scenes things there. Nothing that, like I said, breaking, but just a few fun things that I thought were interesting to mention. Let's start to walk through things a little bit, and I'm right off the bat going to ask you your opinion on that opening scene. We get to see Freddy's glove, and then we immediately jump in with a dream sequence where he's chasing Tina around the boiler room, that kind of thing. What are your thoughts on the opening scene?
Oh, it's so effective. Watching him making the glove, the finger, the knives that go on the glove, and then the sounds in the beginning. It's like a goat being burned.
Yes.
Always terrified me. And even now hearing
it's very
it,
creepy.
It's like like nails on a chalkboard kind of.
Right. Right.
And you really feel like the peril that she's experiencing, trapped, being chased, claustrophobic, hotter than hell. It's like you can immediately relate to the situation she's in and the fear that she's experiencing. So it's a perfect way to kind of give you a glimpse of what's to come, and then you're pulled back, and then you start with sort of the happy part of the film when we meet the main characters. It gets even worse after that. But
it really does.
What about you?
I
what
love
did you
the
think?
opening as well. Yeah, I love it. I love the way you, like you said, we get to start off with seeing Freddy kind of putting the glove together and making it. I think right off the bat here, the sound is so good, because I agree. It's very creepy. Some of the noises that you hear, the score is good. And then, right off with him chasing Tina through the boiler room. I mean, it jumps right in. I think it's a great opening. It's a fantastic opening. I will say, have you ever got to interview Amanda Weiss, who played Tina?
I have not, but I did meet her at a horror convention. And funny story, I gave her my card my business card for A&B Horror Movies.
Right.
She's like, have you interviewed me before? She's like, you look really familiar. I was like, I have not, but I would love to. But alas, it has not happened. Maybe one day I would love to talk with her. And Lisa Wilcox, cool. I'd love to sit down with.
Yes.
Not in the first one, but I'd love to sit down with her too.
Yeah, there are some people that would be amazing to interview from this franchise. But I'm with you. I love the opening as well. And then there we do get into what you were talking about earlier, where the kids are coming together. Tina and Nancy are talking about their dream. But they seem great. Rod comes in and messes with them a little bit. We do meet Glenn, Johnny Depp's character, but we just get that brief interaction with them and kind of setting things up, and they seem so fun. Everybody does a great job, and then it's off to Tina's house, like you were talking about. So,
and that one moment at Tina's house when they're describing Freddy and they both realize they're dreaming about the same person. I mean, come on, that's something. That's fantastic.
It really is. Yeah, absolutely great scene, and they even. We get some hints here and there. I'm trying to remember. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank. I know when we have the scene
Yeah.
where Tina and Rod are in bed together, Rod does mention, no more nightmares for either one of us. Now, he doesn't really go into detail about what his dream is, but he does mention no more nightmares. Isn't
Mhm.
there a place there where Glenn also mentions a nightmare, but doesn't go into the detail like Tina and Nancy do?
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
doesn't
Because they're
I
talking
think
about,
so.
like you said, they're talking about dreaming about the same thing. And I think you kind of see a look on his face like, oh, wow. But he never
Mm.
really elaborates that he's having the same thing. But yeah, still such a great scene. And then,
Yeah, because the male characters are like, oh, that's just girl stuff. We're
right,
we're we're tough guys. We don't get spooked by our dreams. But you
right.
kind of start to see through that, especially with Rod, that it is getting through that sort of persona
Yeah,
and
yeah.
touching a nerve with him.
And then I think we get to a couple of, as we start to get there for Tina's death, I think we get a couple of absolutely amazing scenes. The scene where Nancy's laying there in bed and Freddie
Mhm.
starts to come through the wall a little bit.
Mhm.
So incredible. And then of course Nancy's death scene is just one of the still to me. I know we have CGI now. We get so many things now that we can see that some of it looks fantastic. But
Mhm.
I just love the way this scene was done. Tina's death scene is still one of the best in all of
Oh, it's
slasher
shocking.
movies.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it really
absolutely.
is.
And it's one of those examples where every time I watch A Nightmare on Elm Street, I know she's going to die, but I hope maybe this time it'll be different.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
never
she's definitely one
happens,
of those
but
that you wish
yes,
would survive.
I'm still
But
holding
yeah,
out though.
I know it. I'm right there with you actually. But
I can
yeah,
dream
such
about
a
her living on, right?
yes, exactly. Such an amazing scene. I wish they would have. This is off topic, but I wish they could have gotten Amanda Weiss to come back for New Nightmare. I would like to have seen her in that as
Mhm.
well. That would have been really cool. But yeah, again, just a classic death scene here that looks so great, very effective. Rod
Mhm.
is terrified. I mean, we're getting good performances all the way around.
Mhm.
Um, but I do like the fact that even though that's it for Tina's character, we still get to see her at different points throughout the movie. There's the scene in the school where Nancy
Yeah.
falls asleep there in the classroom and Tina's, in the sheet, that kind of thing. So,
Yes. Oh
which
my
I
god.
think those scenes look incredible as well. Um,
And, and she's well. First of all, I'm like, she's good. How can she breathe in that body bag? Um,
right.
but the way they do it, where she's on the floor and her legs lift up, and then
Yeah.
someone invisible drags her away. That's just
Yeah.
so good,
Yeah, it is.
so
It's
good.
a great scene. Yeah. So many good
And
things.
Lynn Shay is the teacher.
Yeah. Which, for the longest
Fantastic.
time, I don't think I picked up on that fact, honestly, until about 5 years ago. I don't know
Oh
how.
yeah.
It never really, because I mean, I know who she is. I've seen her in countless things, but it just never
Mm.
dawned on me one day until I was probably rewatching Nightmare on Elm Street again for whatever reason. And I see her and I'm like, wait, are you kidding me? Was that really who that was?
Lynn
And I'm like,
Shay. Yeah, I
wow.
mean she's
Yeah.
in it
So,
for like a minute. She's not in there
yeah,
very long, but
right. But yeah, just cool that you get to see her for a few minutes. So, yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Um, we do get some more of Nancy's dreams. Like we talked about Tina in the bag. Um,
Yes.
a scene where Nancy's being chased through the boiler room as well, and then ends up burning herself to kind of wake up, to
Mm.
and sees that she's still got that burn mark.
Yes. Yep.
Um, so yeah, just more great things there as we see Nancy starting to try and figure some of this out. As you mentioned earlier, Rod trying to, he ends up getting arrested, but he's trying to, proclaim his innocence that he didn't do this. Again,
Mhm.
just great performances, and I feel like the movie is just
Yeah.
flowing along so well. Um, and then we get to another absolute. There's just so many scenes in this film that I think are amazing. But the bathtub scene, another one of
Oh,
Nancy's dreams where she's in the bathtub and Freddy's, doing a Jaws impression or something and coming up through the water with his
yes.
claw. But
Oh my
another
god.
great scene. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, your thoughts on all of these dream sequences and the way this is all playing out.
They're incredible. I mean, how many times have you thought about a bathtub and what happens to her?
Right.
I'm sure horror fans have had that cross their minds on many occasions. I think the whole, in the jail cell when Rod gets hung by the sheet,
Right.
um, again, every time I watch it, I'm like, well, maybe they'll get there in time. Maybe this, get there in time, and they don't, of course.
Yeah.
Kind of joking around a little bit. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just great, and there's
Yeah.
always, like, even with the bathtub scene, there's always kind of a humorous element to it. Maybe not so
Right.
much with Rod's passing, but in that scene, right? Doesn't the mother say something like, statistically, so many people slip and fall and
Yeah.
die in the
Yeah.
bathtub every
Right.
year or something? And it's just kind of funny that the mother would say something like that, not knowing what her daughter just experienced.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, this scene as well, when a lot of times when you talk about horror movies and you talk about slashers,
Mm.
bathroom scenes, you're automatically going to think about Psycho, the shower scene.
Oh, of
But
course.
to me, I think this one ranks right up there with it.
Mhm.
It's different, but it's still just amazing. Done so well.
Yeah.
Such a
Well,
classic scene
and
that I absolutely love every
I
time.
completely agree. I mean, think about it. You're vulnerable in the bathroom. You're in the bathtub.
Right.
You're not wearing any clothes. I mean, that we've all done that,
Yes.
and that's what makes it so horrific. So,
Right. Yeah, yeah, because you're completely vulnerable. I mean, I can't
and,
imagine being in a much more awkward position to be attacked.
and
So
to
yeah,
get pulled into the drain. Yeah,
yeah, that
there
that
you
would be
go.
terrifying. So yeah, I'm telling you, Freddy horrified me. It
Oh,
took me a while to be able to watch Freddy for a lot of the reasons that we're talking about right now. But
mhm, mhm.
Nancy does go on. She starts talking to Glenn about wanting him to watch her while she gets some sleep. She's starting to figure this out. We do get Rod's death. It's made to look like a suicide.
Yes.
Um, Finally, though, as Nancy starts to reveal things to her parents, and you see things kind of clicking with them, and we get the scene where her mom takes her to the sleep clinic. And there's where we finally, Nancy, like we said, is kind of starting to figure this out and becoming that badass when she is able to pull Freddy's hat out of the dream.
Mm.
And uh, yeah, I think, I mentioned being horrified of Freddy, but I think Nancy figuring it out when I finally did sit down to watch this movie, and yeah, the first time as a kid, and thought it was terrifying. But Nancy figuring it out and starting to find ways to possibly overcome Freddy made it a little bit easier for me, you know.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
yeah, I think this is a great scene here, and again, just the way it was written and the way it was done. Uh, Craven was a genius for this because I don't think I would have ever thought to do anything like that. I mean, even if you can think about somebody, killing people in their sleep, what about waking up and pulling something out of the dream? Like, where did that come from? You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Oh my God. Yeah. And the first time watching it, you're like, up until that point, like, how can you fight someone who's isn't real and is only in your dreams, right?
Right.
And then when that
Continue.
happens, yeah, sure. When that happens and she pulls, your light went out. I was like, you're in
It
the
did.
dark. Um, when that happens and she pulls the hat out, that's when you're like, oh, okay, this is how they could fight back. This is going to
Right.
go someplace now, and it's not just in their dreams. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. It's brilliant,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
completely
when
agree.
isn't that when her hair starts to turn gray too?
Yes. Yeah.
Wakes
While
up.
she's
It's
there,
like,
which for the longest time, that has still blown my mind. And maybe you can enlighten me a little bit. Was it just fear that caused that? Because that's something that all
yeah.
this
I mean,
time I
that's my
wondered
take
why.
on it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, isn't that sort of an urban legend? You're scared to death
I
if
think
your hair
that's
went
right. Yeah.
gray. Um,
Yeah. I just remember that part always blowing my mind. I'm like, well,
with the
every
stock
time I'm like, I missed something. I had to have missed something. Like, why did her hair turn gray? But yeah, I assume it's just got to be the fear. But
I think so. I mean, it was a nice sort of element, like, and it's also symbolic. Like she was forced to grow up overnight
right.
because of what's happening, and it just, I don't know, it just works. Again, it's another perfect plot point in the film, and it's right when you realize when you're sort of all hope is lost. There, you're despairing, just like the characters are. It gives you a moment where you're like, they could actually fight back here.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's a great way to put it because that pretty much is because we've lost Tina,
Mm.
we've lost Nick, or Rod, excuse me,
Mhm.
and Nancy's having to go to this clinic. She's falling apart. So yeah, it does seem like it's at the worst moment, and there's nothing that they can possibly do. And then there's just that shred of hope. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's a great job there, and
exactly.
that's
Shred of
exactly
hope.
what
That's
it
a
does. Yeah.
perfect way to
Um,
describe it. Mhm.
so I agree with that as well. From there, finally, Nancy's mother reveals the truth to her. She tells her the story of
Mhm.
Fred Krueger, who was, killing children, released on a technicality, parents attacking and burned alive. And then I think it's so creepy that her mom reveals that she's got his glove. Because
Yes.
I'm like, why? Why the hell, after all
Oh
of
my
this,
God,
would you keep
why
that glove?
not? Yeah. It's so good though.
I mean, it is. It's good, but I
Look
try to
what
put
I'm hiding in
myself,
the basement.
yeah, I try to put myself in that situation. I'm like, I wouldn't want that thing anywhere near me. But yeah, it is great for the movie.
I've got it in the old boiler, right? Where else? Where else
Exactly.
would she hide it?
But and then of
And
course,
she's
she
so
tries.
serious, right? When she
She
takes
is.
it out and
Yeah.
she unwraps it. It's like,
Yes.
I don't know. It's like there's a dead body down here, and I'm going to
Right.
share it with you. You're going to be very
Yeah.
serious about it.
She really is. Like you said, it's a great scene.
It
Um,
is. I joke, but yeah.
yeah, and of course, it's her mom that tries to barricade the house so that Nancy can't get out. We also then get the phone, the phone scene where, Nancy's on the phone and Freddie's tongue comes to the phone. And it's something that now, while there's so much of this movie that I think holds up and looks amazing, maybe this particular effect doesn't hold up quite as well, but it's still so good. It's still so fun. I mean, it does
Yes.
look kind of silly, but I think that's what it's supposed to
It's
look silly.
supposed to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like
you
tongue in
can't judge it
cheek.
for that.
See what I did there?
I do see what you did there. That was good.
It's yeah, it's just perfect, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's not fake. And again, going back to the remake, that's what they miss. I mean, thinking of the
right.
tone, imagine in the remake if they did something as goofy as that, it would feel
Yeah,
so out of place
right.
to give you an idea of how different the tone is
Yeah,
in
no,
that
that's a
film.
very good point. Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Although maybe it would have saved
Um,
the movie if they
maybe
did
if
they.
they could have
I don't even
thrown a
remember.
change up in there.
Did they do something like that? I don't think they did.
Gosh, I don't think so either. It's been a while since I've watched that,
Oh,
but
for
I don't
nothing
think they
even
did. Yeah,
okay.
but yeah, maybe the
And
change up would have helped.
isn't she watching Evil Dead in her
Yes,
bedroom? I
yes,
mean,
she
it's
is.
just
Yeah,
perfect. I
hmm
mean, I know they did sort of nods to their films, like
yeah,
Wes Craven,
absolutely.
Sam Raimi.
Um, which is something that I like. One of this is totally off topic, but just you mentioned them doing the nods to each other. I do
Mm.
like it when horror movies do that kind of thing. One of my favorite things in Bride of Chucky, because I'm a huge Chucky fan.
Yeah,
One of
yeah.
my
Okay,
favorite
cool.
things in Bride of Chucky is the scene there where you get a glimpse in the evidence locker and you see Freddy's glove, and I think you see Jason's
Yeah,
mask. You see a chainsaw. Like, oh, I love stuff like that. So yeah, I do appreciate
like
the
those
little
Easter
nods here and
eggs.
there that get
Yeah,
thrown in. Yeah, I like that
yeah.
stuff. So
That's cool. Me too.
um, yeah, and then we get to Glenn's death, which again, another scene that
Mhm,
looked absolutely amazing. Um,
mhm.
I think it's a scene that for some reason, I mean, it doesn't obviously now, but that scene shocked me the first time
Oh
I
yeah,
saw this movie. I just was not expecting him to go, at least at that point. And, I thought if he was going to go, he was going to go like saving her or something. Not
yeah,
not
yeah.
not for it to happen the way that it did. But again, such a great scene,
Mm.
done so incredibly well. Um, yeah. Any thoughts there on Glenn's death that you want to share? Anything in particular that jumped out at you?
Well, my God, there's no way he had that much blood in him. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm thinking back to when I first saw it, I was completely blown away.
Yeah.
Experiencing it on the old tube console TV, it's like,
Right.
wow. Um, the cleanup effort. I mean,
Oh,
now that I'm a
I love that.
homeowner and I'm older, I can appreciate. Can you imagine having to clean that? I know they're on a set, of course, but all that
Still,
water damage. Oh my
I
gosh,
know. Yeah, that
blood
had to be rough.
damage. Yeah, I
Had
don't
to
know.
be rough.
It's. But again, it's like kind of that goofy tone. Maybe
Right.
goofy's not the right word, but it's just so over the top, and it works,
Yeah,
right?
I completely agree. Yeah,
Mm.
because I think people miss it somewhat, to be honest with you, because I hear so many people talk about when it comes to Freddy and the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise that
Yeah.
Freddy is scary in the first one. I agree. He truly is. And then they talk about over the course of the sequels, he becomes silly and not scary. We'll get into some of that, somewhere
Mm.
down the road. But
Yeah.
there's still some, as you mentioned earlier, the elements of the the silliness or the humor are there even in the first one. It's not like it
Yeah,
came completely out of
absolutely.
left field later. Like it's always
Yeah.
been there.
It was more refined, I guess, maybe in the future films.
Yeah,
They
that's
focus on
probably
it
a
more.
good way
But
to put it.
think about when he's chasing Tina and he's like, "Hey, look at this," and he cuts his fingers off. I mean,
Yes.
come
Yeah.
on, that's like playground elementary school humor.
Right.
I mean, obviously, don't do that, but it's like, oh,
Yeah.
he cut his fingers off, and green
Yeah.
goo
Well,
starts squirting
and like
out.
you said too, with the chase of Tina, there's also the scene where his arms are incredibly long. I mean,
Yeah,
there's things like that throughout it.
he's like
Yeah.
that's like clown-like almost, right?
Right. Right.
So I don't know. It, yeah. I mean, it was scary at the time, but again, you could see hints of his sort of. I hate saying goofy, but you can see hints of his maniacal kind of.
Yeah.
He liked to toy with his play with his
The
food. Let's
toying
say.
and the torment.
Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah,
later on, um,
you came to expect that.
yes,
Right?
absolutely. And I saw where I can't remember if it was Don Mancini or if it was Tom Holland, but when they were doing the first Child's Play movie, some of
Mm.
their inspiration for the way Chucky would behave came from Freddy,
Freddie, I could
wanting
see
that
that.
same kind of thing, wanting that
Yeah.
the taunting, that kind of thing. They
Mhm.
wanted that for Chucky as well. And so which is
Yeah,
another
I could see
iconic
that.
character, but yeah.
It became sort of his trademark, kind of like Jason and his creative kills. Like, how is he going to kill this
Right.
next victim of his? Like the sleeping bag kill and
Yeah.
I don't know, the whatever.
Right. No, yeah,
You name
you're
it.
spot on.
Um, and that's
Yeah.
what you came to expect. Same thing with Freddy, Michael Myers.
Right.
So he just never dies.
Yeah.
So
And then we get to the like the Home Alone section of the movie. So I want your take on this, where Nancy starts setting up all these booby traps.
the booby
Um,
traps.
yeah, and she starts doing some of this. Um, I'm not
Yeah.
going to say that it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the film. If there was anything that I wish they would have done somewhat differently, it might would have been this. Because I won't lie, the booby traps bother me a little bit, but at the same time, they serve a purpose, and they don't. It's just a
Yeah.
nitpick. It doesn't cause me to not enjoy things, but um, yeah, that part I guess maybe is the only thing about this movie that I might have some issues with, but it's very, very, very small. And I guess it serves a purpose. She gets Freddy out
True.
into the real world through these battles and that kind of thing. So it's a means to an end.
And
But
yeah, and it's
yeah,
symbolic of her fighting back in ways that she can,
right.
whatever she has at her disposal is her way to fight back. It's like the MacGyver element of it. And
Yes.
yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know. It's kind of
It's
fun.
Yeah,
It
well,
goes.
yeah, and that's what I was about to say. It's a nitpick because it really doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the film at all.
Mhm.
I think every time I watch it, when that part starts, I'm like, "Ah, I kind of wish they'd have done something else. But at the same time, then I go right back into having fun with it too. So
Yeah,
it's not a
of
huge
course.
deal. Yeah,
Of course.
it's a
Right.
very minor thing.
And again, going back to the remake, imagine if what's her name? I can't think. Rooney Mara, maybe? Is
Yeah,
that
I
her
believe that's
name?
right. I think so.
Imagine if she was like gunpowdering light bulbs,
Right.
which I
Done
don't think
something a
she
little bit
does.
different.
I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but imagine if she was sitting at the kitchen table filling light
Yes,
bulbs with gunpowder. Um,
exactly. Yeah, it could have changed some things for that one for
change
sure.
some things. Exactly. Yes.
Um,
Too funny.
yeah, through this,
Didn't
Nancy
you always
begins
want to
bringing.
try that though? Would they
I
really
did.
explode?
I know. I was always very curious, but
But
then
I didn't want to burn the house down.
yeah, I
So,
never had enough guts to actually do it, but I was very curious.
oh yeah.
Can we really do this?
Mhm.
Nancy's
The
able to
one
bring Freddy
scene.
into the real world. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, of course, I was going to say the one scene where her feet go into the stairs. If I'm jumping ahead,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
No, you're
That's
good.
one thing that if you watch that now, like in the 4K, you can kind of see where the goopy spots are,
Yeah.
and her feet just go into the goopy spots. But man, watching
Right.
that for the first time, it's like she's sinking into the stairs. Oh my
Yes.
gosh! Right? How
Yeah.
do you get into
Yeah.
this?
I know. It's like they just kept ramping it up. There was always something.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, so it was so good. But yeah, you're right. I did notice that on the 4K, but it still looks good. I mean, it's still
It's
fun.
still fun. Yeah, of course.
Um,
Of course.
Yeah, that is good.
But didn't you think you can see the goopy spots? Just step to the
Yes.
left or the right. And you
Yeah.
can,
Yeah, you can't see it a little bit. You know exactly where she's supposed to go. And
yes.
I feel like I read. Do you know exactly what they use there? Because I feel like I've read different things. Do you
I,
know?
yeah. No.
Okay. Yeah,
I assume it was on a set, right? I don't
it
know.
was on a set. One place I had seen that they used a lot of peanut butter, which I thought was disgusting.
Hmm.
But then I also thought I saw something completely different. So I would need to go back and fact check that to see what it was. But whatever it was, it worked. It looked good.
Looks like cream of wheat, kind of. Maybe
A little
peanut
bit.
butter.
Yeah. Yeah.
They would have
But
had to color it because it's like that carpet
right.
beige color.
Right.
I don't
Whatever
know.
they used, it worked.
We could go to Chat GPT and have all the answers there.
That's true. The once she gets Freddie brought in and her dad finally, shows up,
Hmm.
um, she thinks she has Freddie trapped in the basement. He's obviously escaped, and they kind of see the trail of fire, and follow him up and find Freddie attacking Nancy's mom there in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the dad, of course, comes in and this scene, I kind of wonder what John Saxon's character was thinking because he basically just covers him up to start with. I guess
Yeah.
he's got to put the fire out before he can really try to help. But that scene always amuses me a little
Mm.
bit. That was his first go to. But again, I
Yeah.
understand.
I never thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
I think if I walked in and somebody was on fire and attacking a loved one, my I don't know. I'm probably going to try to just kick them off or something initially, not grab a blanket and
Not
put it on
put
them.
the
But
fire out.
yeah, but I mean, hey, you do what you got to do. You don't want to get burned, so why not?
True.
But yeah, another great scene, and I like the aftermath. That is he leaves, and
Mhm.
Nancy stays up there, and Freddie returns,
Yeah.
um, and that's when Nancy's figured it out, and she basically says, I'm not afraid of you anymore, and
Mhm.
we find Freddie
Yeah. Face your
powerless.
demons. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So again, a great scene there, and you see that Nancy has figured it out that she's won this. Um, but
Yeah.
my question for you here is, because after that, it appears that by winning and not being afraid anymore, she got everything back. We see her mom, we see her get
Mhm.
into the car with her friends. They're all still alive. It seems like Nancy wins, and then the kids are jumping rope and Freddie takes over the car. So your thoughts, your interpretation on the end of the film, did Nancy win and this is just another nightmare, or what? uh, did she never win?
Yeah. I don't know if I have a profound answer for you here. I feel like that just sort of it's kind of like a fun way
Okay.
to wrap it up. Like again, tongue in cheek.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess I've never taken it too seriously, but I could see how you could interpret it. Like maybe she's still in a nightmare, or
Yeah.
maybe it's not over yet.
Right.
Um, Now, didn't they come back and add that ending, like refilm that because
I
Wes
believe
Craven
so.
thought that it needed something more at the end?
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's correct.
and how many times did you rewind that scene where the mother gets pulled in through that little window to like see how did they do that?
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
And you
multiple
can kind of
times.
see it's like a mannequin. It like
Right.
flips from her into a mannequin. But my God, when we first saw it, you're like, what just happened?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, it serves its purpose. It does exactly what it needs to do. It gives you that one
yeah,
more, last shock real quick. Um,
yeah,
and
absolutely. Go ahead.
like you, I had never really put much thought into it either. Um, I heard somebody discussing this movie on a podcast. It's been a few months ago, but they were
Mhm.
talking about that. What does the ending mean? And I had never really thought about it either because I felt the same way as you did. I thought it was just kind of a fun way to wrap it up and end it and leave
Yeah.
you wondering. But when they mentioned that, I'm like, oh, what does it mean? Like, is she still, was she still in the nightmare? Like, what was happening? But obviously, her character comes back for the third one, so um, and her friends don't. So I think that they were all dead, but who knows what really happened. So,
True. Yeah, I mean, like
yeah,
I said, I guess I've just never taken it too seriously. It's just sort of a fun
yeah,
little way to end it.
yeah. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
So, anything else
Like
before
one other
we?
thing I wanted to mention though, for
Sure.
years I've seen this movie, and it wasn't until I don't know exactly when, but I never noticed that in the convertible car when the top flips down, it's red and green like Freddie's sweater. I didn't
Yes.
notice that for years, and
Okay.
when I finally did, I was like, "Oh my god, it works so well!" Right? You're like,
Yes. Yeah. Every
things aren't what
detail.
they seem in this moment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we see the car, earlier in the film, and it doesn't have that part. It's the red car,
Yes.
but it doesn't have that red and green top that comes over. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's very,
Yeah.
very well done. Very nice little throw
Mhm.
something in there. So,
Mhm.
um, before we rank the film, anything else you want to share about it? Anything that you feel like we missed, or you feel like we covered everything?
No, I mean, I think, first of all, this has been so much fun talking with you
Yeah, I
about it.
agree.
It's like, I don't know, a trip down memory lane to talk
Yeah,
about this film because
absolutely.
it's one of those movies that span decades in our lives, and to go back to it and think about what it meant to us over the years and what it means to us now, I think it's
Yeah,
just
I completely agree.
amazing that it
Yeah,
has the longevity that it has because um, I don't think anyone, when they made it, had any idea what it was going to become. In fact, I
yeah,
know that because when we talked to Jay Sue, he's like, "Yeah, we had no idea." He
right.
said, "We made the movie, and then he's like, I was an actor. I just moved on to something else." And then it wasn't until years later that he started to realize, like, there's a huge fan base
Yeah,
for Nightmare on Elm Street. And then, of course, the
yeah.
sequels started to come out.
Well, and New Line Cinema that did this film,
Mhm.
it so often too gets referred to as the house that Freddie built because they were
Yeah,
struggling. They were about to go under, and they
yeah,
just ended up taking a shot on this. But that they had nobody expected this. Nobody
mhm.
expected this to do what it did, and then to just carry on and build the legacy that it did. And um,
Yeah,
I think it's just, again, we've talked about it a lot, but I think Robert Englund's performance and Freddie as a character just being so amazing that even
mhm.
though it took me a long time I say a long time, a couple of years longer to get to this franchise. I was a huge fan of Friday the 13th, Halloween, that kind of thing. And it took me a little bit to come
Yeah,
over to this franchise. But now, even in the stuff that I collect, I have more Freddy stuff than anyone. I mean,
mm, okay.
I probably have 2 walls worth of Freddy stuff in my house. It's just Freddy
Love
everywhere.
that.
So, yeah, absolutely love it. The last 2 years for Halloween, my brother always has a Halloween party. 2 years in a
Mhm.
row, I've been Freddy at this Halloween
Oh,
party.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been, Freddy is
That's awesome.
absolutely amazing. So, um,
Mm.
on a
Yeah.
scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank the original Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh gosh. Did you give me a warning? Um,
I
one to
probably didn't.
two. The very first one. I mean, Dream Wars is fantastic, but I still always pick the first one as my
Yeah,
favorite because it's the one that started it all.
right.
10 being a perfect score. Ooh, that's tough. I'm gonna go with a 9. 9 out
Okay,
of 10.
okay, okay.
What would
I
you
think that's
say? 10
fair.
out of 10?
I would. I would actually
10
say
out
it's
of
a 10
10?
out of 10. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I just can't, even though we've talked about some little things and I've mentioned some nitpicks here and there, this
Mhm.
is what started such an amazing franchise. It started everything. And going back and again, just watching it, like I said, a couple of days ago, I throw in the 4K, I turn on my surround sound, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, this is so amazing. I mean, there's just something
Yeah,
about this movie that it's just incredible. And,
it's so
you
good.
know, I've found that not all, so I don't want everybody to think that every movie I'm talking about in October is a 10 out of 10. But so far, we've talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. I've given all three of those tens, but everything in October won't. But
Yeah, that's
these
yeah,
first films that start these amazing franchises that again, I'm 53 years old. I've grown up watching this stuff, and
yeah.
like you, I always go back to the first one. I love part three. I love part four, but the first one is just what I go back to the most because
Me too.
it's what started it all. So yes, for me, it's a 10 out of 10, but I can
Yeah,
understand
I love
somebody
that.
not going quite that high. But yeah, that's just where it is for me because there's so much to it, so
Mhm.
many amazing things, amazing performances, and scenes that looked incredible, and just what it went on to become. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Absolutely. Yeah,
But
I'm right there with you. Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. I will
yeah,
say Halloween is my favorite film, but I did not appreciate it as much as I do now until my 20s. Friday the
It's
13th and Nightmare on Elm Street they were my go-to films growing up.
it's funny you say that because I always felt like Friday the 13th, Halloween, that kind of thing. It took me years to appreciate Black Christmas and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, those two originals, because they were just so dark. And so, both of them were
Yeah,
so dark and so gritty and so
especially
real
Texas Chainsaw.
like. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they just were so that, I would watch more of this kind of stuff, or even those remakes. The Texas Chainsaw remake from 2003. When I watched it,
Mm.
I absolutely loved it, and I'm like, "This is a great movie." But the older I get, the more I go back and I watch some of those other ones, like the 1974 Black Christmas, the 1974
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or even 10 years later, 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street. These
Mhm.
originals are just amazing. And the thing
Yeah,
about Black
agreed.
Christmas and Texas Chainsaw is they have such a realism to them that maybe this doesn't have. But
Mhm.
this is effective in so
Yeah,
many
that's
other
true.
ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as a kid watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I loved it, but at the same time, I felt disturbed by it
Yeah.
because it
You
feels
feel like you need a
so
shower after you
real.
watch that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels so real. Like this could happen.
Right.
Nightmare on Elm Street, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't get
Texas
that
Chainsaw
same
Massacre,
feeling.
you could see there's this crazy backwoods family.
Right.
Um, they throw some great dinner parties, but not one you'd want to be a special guest at. Um,
Yes, I
and
agree.
what still fascinates me about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and we digress here, is there's no blood, there's no gore in it.
Right.
And people watch it and think it's the goriest movie they've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that feeling that it gives them.
Mhm.
Isaiah and I, when we reviewed this one on my channel, when he came on and we talked about that, we talked about that very thing about, I had always growing up before I ever saw that movie the first time. I had, growing up, heard how disgusting it was, how gross
Mm.
and that was, and I'm like, wow, yeah, is it really that bad? Like, is it really that much worse than Friday the 13th or whatever? Like, and so when I finally went back and watched it the first time, I'm like, this is not a gory movie, but it's a very uncomfortable movie. It's a very uncomfortable
Psychological.
movie.
Yes, it's what you
Yeah,
don't see, and you
right.
walk away thinking you just experienced the goriest thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. I
And that's
completely
it.
agree.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Aaron, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for
Oh
coming
my
on. I
gosh,
do hope
totally. Yeah,
I hope I can get you to come back and we'll talk about a Nightmare on Elm Street 2 somewhere down the road,
absolutely, man.
and just
I'd
walk through
love to.
this.
Just let me know.
Perfect. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You want to take a minute to go ahead one more time and promote your channel and tell people what you have coming up again?
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to. Before I do that, Sean, thank you so much. This was an
Yeah.
absolute blast. I will come on in a second. Just say the word. Happy to come back at any
Thank you.
time. Gosh, yeah. A&B horror movies. I've got a couple. Let's see. I took some notes here. The Man with the Black Umbrella with Ricky Umberger. If you're a fan of the Fear footage films and Project Eerie, you're going to love his new film. I chatted with him recently. Halloween with Phil Clayton and Ronan Summers, and Brute 1976 with Marcel Waltz and Gigi Gustin, which was a hell of a movie. You got to check that one out too. Those are my recommendations, and those are my latest interviews that I've posted. So
All right.
there you go. A&B horror
Yeah.
movies on YouTube, Aaron's Movies 8587 on Instagram. That's how you can find me. And thank you one last time, man. This has been a total blast.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely, if you don't, I feel like anybody that's familiar with my channel probably already knows you. But if not, yeah, go give AMB Horror Movies a follow. Follow Aaron on social media. Coming up here on Sean's Horror Corner later this week, like I said, we have Hellraiser. Next week, we have Child's Play and Candyman. And then we wrap up October with Scream and Terrifier. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff still coming. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so you don't miss anything. Follow me on social media. I'm on everything out there: Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X. I'm on all of it. Just search Sean's Horror Corner. Thank you, everyone, so much again for watching. Thank you again, Aaron, for being on today. And yeah, I will see you soon, everyone. Bye-bye.